Imagine a world where the sun does not shine, where the sky remains overcast, day and night, plunging everything into an unsettling twilight, where summer brings snow instead of heat, and hope dissolves along with the last withered harvests in the fields. A world where cold and hunger roam the villages like ghosts, and every day is a challenge to survival. This world existed, and the year was 536 AD. Considered by many historians as the darkest year in the history of humanity, 536 marked the beginning of a decade of unprecedented terror and suffering. Ancient records are clear. A mysterious fog covered the skies of Europe, the Middle East, and parts of Asia, blocking sunlight for 18 consecutive months. The Byzantine chronicler Procopius of Caesarea wrote, "The sun gave its light without brightness, like the moon, throughout the year." The world plunged into endless darkness, where neither the day brought comfort nor the night promised rest. Imagine waking up every morning under an eternally gray sky. The fields, once fertile, now covered by a layer of ice and snow, even when the calendar marked the height of summer. The trees did not bloom, the animals disappeared, and the crops failed one after another. Temperatures plummeted to 2.5 degrees Celsius below normal, marking that decade as the coldest in the last 2,300 years. In China, snow fell in the middle of summer, devastating crops and bringing devastating famine. In Europe, it was no different. The Irish chronicles recorded a failure of bread from the years 536 to 539. No harvests, no bread, no hope. Entire families wandered in search of roots, tree bark, anything that could serve as food. Peoples who once prospered now struggled for crumbs, while hunger advanced like a shadow, silent and relentless. What would you do if everything around you seemed to conspire against life? If the very cycle of the seasons reversed, and nature, a source of sustenance, became a hostile and unpredictable force? But the worst was yet to come. As if the cold, hunger, and darkness were not enough, in 541 a new threat emerged, the bubonic plague. It arrived through the port of Pelusium, in Egypt, brought by ships crossing the Mediterranean Sea, and within a few years devastated the Byzantine Empire. The disease spread rapidly, taking with it up to half of the population of the Eastern Roman Empire. Streets, markets, entire villages were emptied. Panic set in, and political and economic structures collapsed. One of the greatest empires in history was hastened to collapse not by weapons, but by an invisible and relentless enemy. But after all, what could have triggered such a calamity? For centuries, the origin of this climatic apocalypse remained a mystery. Only recently, with advances in geological studies and analyses of tree rings and ice cores, have scientists discovered the likely cause: one or more colossal volcanic eruptions. Possibly in Iceland, or even in the Americas, these volcanoes released enough dust and ash into the stratosphere to block solar radiation across the entire planet. The sky became opaque, temperatures plummeted, and the life cycle of crops was interrupted. When we compare a common eruption with the impact of those in 536, the difference is frightening. The entire planet entered a state of volcanic winter, a rare but devastating phenomenon. What if that happened again? Would we be prepared to face months, perhaps years, without the heat and energy of the sun? How would our societies react to a silent threat that crosses continents and challenges even the greatest powers? The tragedy of 536 is a grim reminder of human fragility. Our history is intertwined with the forces of nature. Volcanoes, storms, epidemics, climate changes. Entire civilizations have flourished and fallen at the mercy of these events. No matter how advanced we are, no matter how high our technology reaches, we still depend on factors beyond our control. It takes just one extreme event to change the course of history. However, just like all dark nights, that one also passed. Gradually, the sky cleared. The dust settled, the sun shone again, and life, resilient, was reborn from the ashes of the crisis. Peoples adapted, new cultures emerged, and humanity moved forward, marked but not defeated. From the greatest crisis, a new era arose. But is it that today, with all our knowledge, we could avoid suffering so much? Or are we destined to repeat the same cycles, ignoring the signs that nature gives us? The story of the year 536 is not just a lesson about the past, but a warning for the future. May we learn from the mistakes and successes of our ancestors and seek ways to build more resilient and prepared societies. If you enjoyed this journey through the darkest period of humanity, be sure to share this knowledge. Reflect on our vulnerability, but also on our capacity for overcoming challenges. Subscribe to continue exploring the mysteries and lessons of the past, and share with those who need to know this history. After all, the best way to face the future is by learning from what we have already experienced. Sign up and stay curious.